Long before written language or agricultural societies, early humans were driven by an unexplained, irrational impulse. They knelt on the earth, closing their eyes to reach out to unseen, powerful forces beyond their comprehension. This deep-seated spiritual behavior emerged tens of thousands of years before the first farms or villages were ever built. Archaeologists have unearthed clear evidence that these ritualistic practices date back to the Middle Paleolithic era. These discoveries suggest that belief in the supernatural was a fundamental, active part of human life long ago. Without any written scripture or formal guidance, these ancient ancestors independently developed complex spiritual frameworks. This spiritual awakening predates the invention of agriculture, suggesting it originated from something innate within us. They were scattered across a dangerous world, yet they all arrived at the same conclusion about the divine. Why did ancient humans, separated by vast distances, independently believe in forces watching from the shadows? To uncover the roots of this belief, we must look at how our ancestors handled the mystery of death. In the wild, nature is indifferent to the end of life, yet humans saw something much deeper. Our ancestors stopped treating the deceased as mere waste and began to treat them as something sacred. In the animal kingdom, death is met with almost universal indifference, a simple biological end. Even intelligent primates eventually move on, leaving their dead behind without any ritual or ceremony. But at some point, humans shifted, viewing the body as a vessel for something essential that had moved on. This was not just about hiding a body. It was about preparing the deceased for a journey to another realm. These grave goods, found across the globe, serve as physical proof of a belief in an afterlife. For a society where making a single stone tool took hours, burying these items was a massive sacrifice. They performed these rites because they believed the dead had not ceased to exist, but moved on. The earliest evidence of this behavior comes from the archaeological site of Atapuerca in northern Spain. Inside a deep cave system, researchers discovered the Pit of Bones, where skeletons were carefully deposited 400,000 years ago. It took incredible effort to reach this pit, proving this was a deliberate act, not just disposal of remains. Among these bones, they found a single, beautifully crafted hand axe made of rare red quartz. This tool, named Excalibur, was never used for butchery or woodwork, but placed as a ritual offering. Further down the timeline, humans were buried with red ochre and shells, showing sophisticated symbolic expression. If these ancients did not believe in something beyond death, why leave such meaningful items with those who would never wake? In 2016, researchers in France discovered complex circular stone structures, 300 meters deep in a cave. These structures, built 176,000 years ago, were far beyond the reach of natural light, meant for ritual purposes. Researchers found evidence of burnt bones inside, proving that fire was brought deep underground for ritual light.
This proves that deep cave rituals were not exclusive to modern humans, but a legacy dating back hundreds of millennia.
This raises a major question. Is the human brain naturally programmed to believe in gods?
Anthropologists propose a two-stage theory to explain this phenomenon.
First, our ancestors evolved specific mental mechanisms that were highly useful for basic physical survival. In the second stage, these survival mechanisms accidentally misfired, creating a natural tendency to believe in spirits.
Religious belief, in this view, is a byproduct of cognitive tools designed for survival.
One of these core tools is the theory of mind, the ability to attribute mental states to others. It allowed early humans to navigate complex social hierarchies by guessing what their neighbors were thinking.
However, This system was so active that human brains began projecting it onto non-living things. When it rained, they did not see water condensing. They saw the sky acting with intent. Ancient humans assumed the sky wanted to wet the earth, and thus acted with purpose.
If a volcano erupted, the mountain was acting out of anger. Every storm was a spirit expressing sorrow. This cognitive overprojection is the foundation of animism, the oldest form of human religion. Our ancestors believed spirits inhabited everything: the sun, the wind, the rivers, and the trees.
Because they believed these natural forces had conscious minds, they had to interact with them like humans.
Worship began as a practical strategy to appease these powerful forces, turning the world into a network of relationships. This evolutionary programming is so powerful that it remains dominant even in our modern scientific world. Today, nearly 6 billion people, representing 84% of the global population, identify with a formal religion. Even in highly secular societies, supernatural belief does not disappear.
Statistical surveys show that even among people who self-identify as atheists, many still believe in a higher power. 1 in 5 still believes in a cosmic force or a spiritual energy.
Our brains are still running the Pleistocene default code, looking for intent behind the universe.
Belief in gods also solved a massive social problem: keeping order in larger groups.
In a small band of 30 hunter-gatherers, everyone knew everyone, making social accountability easy.
If someone stole meat or lied, the group would immediately punish them through gossip or banishment. But as communities expanded, people had to interact with strangers, making cheating and stealing easier. This is the free rider problem, and it has destroyed countless human groups throughout history.
To prevent social collapse, religion evolved to include moralizing forces that watched from above.
By extending surveillance to all-seeing spirits, societies found a way to curb selfishness. If you stole when no one was looking, you could hide from human justice, but not from the gods.
This psychological surveillance gave religious groups a massive evolutionary advantage.
A tribe that believed in an all-seeing deity would cooperate much more effectively than a group that didn't. They would share food, fight courageously, and build stronger communities.
Belief in gods was a practical social technology designed to keep the tribe from splintering into chaos.
For decades, historians believed they knew exactly how civilizations started.
The standard theory was simple. First, humans invented agriculture, which led to permanent villages, and then religion.
Religion was seen as a luxury product of agricultural wealth. But a 1994 discovery in Turkey completely shattered this timeline.
Göbekli Tepe is a massive stone temple complex dating back 11,500 years.
The site consists of dozens of T-shaped limestone pillars, some standing 5 meters tall. What makes this site mind-blowing is that it was built entirely by pre-agricultural hunter-gatherers. They had no metal tools, no wheels, and no domesticated animals to assist them. The need to feed the temple builders drove the domestication of wheat. They began planting the wild grains systematically to ensure they could keep building their monument.
It was not agriculture that created religion. It was religion that forced the birth of agriculture. To construct a monument of this scale, Hundreds of people from different nomadic bands had to gather.
Feeding this massive workforce was an impossible challenge, using wild game alone. This discovery completely reverses the traditional arrow of history.
The shared trauma, the ritual, and the belief in gods were the catalysts for human civilization.
Please donate or subscribe to support our research into these ancient mysteries.